The Malaysian home ownership dream? Well, truth be told, it's been just wishful thinking for many regular wage earners. That's because houses have always been priced beyond their reach for years now, and it has been further exacerbated with rising unemployment, income loss, and a weak economy due to the pandemic. According to the Malaysian House Price Index from the National Property Information Center, the average property price in Malaysia has nearly doubled since 2010, increasing by 99.3%. For many in the upper B40 and the M40 who don't qualify for government-supplied housing such as People's Housing Project flats and Prima homes, their only option is the increasingly expensive private market, and therein lies the problem of affordability. The whole affordability issue boils down to two things: builders and banks. Varying one has a knock-on effect on the other. Without a plan to manage each of them, the end cost of a completed property can far outstrip what people can or are willing to invest in. Malacca-based developer Anthony Cho said as developers need to make a profit, the additional costs they have to bear are added to the selling price of the unit. These include factoring in land and infrastructure costs, as well as development charges levied by local and state governments. Cho says that when the government adds costs to builders, they are actually passing them on to buyers. Property developers are profit-driven businesses. The more it costs for them to produce, the more they have to charge to protect their margins. Most people cannot afford to buy a house in cash, and as such need to take out a home loan, which will inevitably be affected by the pandemic. When approving a loan, banks must ensure that the buyer has a stable income to service the repayments. According to Lee Heng-Gui, Executive Director of the Socio-Economic Research Center, the pandemic has made this criteria difficult to meet, as high unemployment numbers mean many lack the stability to satisfy the banks. Post-COVID, we will be reeling from the impact to the labor market, with plenty of people still left behind. Even if house prices come down, it won't matter if people who want to buy them can't get financing. Noor Rosli Hanif, Dean of the Faculty of Built Environment, Surveying and Real Estate at Geomatica University, says past attempts to fix these issues have largely been unsuccessful, as policy on housing were made to win over people for election purposes, with no strong and sound plans to overcome affordability problems. We could also see the rise of ghost towns, as seen in many developed countries such as China and many parts of the West, where richer people buy investment properties and would rather leave the housing unit vacant and wait for capital appreciation. So, what can be done? In part 2, we'll explore how we can reverse this trend, speaking to experts to get their suggestions on how we can reform the housing market and allow more people to buy their dream home.